Okay, we are at the Town East Mall, and there's not really any action here. So we're just going to do some light window shopping. Malls have had an interesting history. I used to go with my mother to, I'm not necessarily going to narrate everything there, but you're going to look at it and go, dang. So malls have changed quite a bit. Malls used to be a festive thing, a pleasurable thing, where you can go and see interesting things. I think about Carl Symington a lot. He was a psychic, and you could say maybe he was somewhat of a father figure. So we would meet up in the food court at Lloyd Center, which is now being closed in Portland, which started out in the 1950s. So it was a food court like that. And can I interview you about how you feel about the current situation? No, you don't care either? I didn't think so. Well, that's why we're ending up in this mess. All right. So we have a lot of this stuff. We'll see what type of mind control they're trying to mind control the children with this to bring them to the darker world and realms. You know, it really doesn't need words, but it's programming. They're sponges. They take in the programming, they receive the programming, and they don't realize that there's not really a good dad or a teacher in the room because we've been kicked out. The good men have been kicked off the planet, and the evil one is about to land. And as they drop nukes on the planet's vibrational frequency opens, and the others come in. Once they remove us from the planet, the evil comes and consumes the planet. Right? So yeah, Carl would talk with her up in the food court. And we would drive from Aurora to Lloyd Center, and we were never harassed, we were never bothered, we were never assaulted. Nor were my mother and I, just me, just little me. But when we were together, not so much, because of the vibrational frequency. So this is the Town East Mall. And I guess one of the other things about malls, people, are fascinated with the ceiling. But the whole idea is malls have changed because products have changed. We've changed. Desires have changed. And so everything is about, there is a lot of the counterfeit Christianity here. There's a lot of the Christianity magic here, but it's really a thought form because the real understandings of what Jesus stood for is now gone from our society. They're actually at war with Jesus. And if Jesus was alive today, they would murder him and they'd put it on Fox News. If Jesus was alive today, they straight murder him and they'd offer the blood. All right, so we have Dillard's. Dillard's is kind of an interesting place. All right, then we have interesting tile here. Pretty mild for a Saturday night. The temperature is heating up. So let's go back to the clothing. So the energy is geomagnetic. It's geomagnetic, but we go through different stages of the solar flares. We go through different stages of the solar flares, and so sometimes it might be more of a pleasurable moment. There were some younger people that were somewhat interested in what I was saying for a minute. This is kind of the spiritual New Age sort of. But once you wake up to the fact that certain people are at a certain vibrational frequency right now, then you no longer expect them to like you and not be racist. Once you realize that people are a certain way and that there's different people here that have come from different periods in time, then you come to understand that it's on them to do the DNA upgrade, to feel safe around me. It's not on me. It's not on me. I've done a lot of good work for the earth. I came from the sun, and there is a real fear this world has of spiritual masters is what I'm picking up on. You can walk into places with a presence or an aura and actually cause a disruption to people that are in a particular state of mind. And that's basically the state of the world right now. So look at these glasses here. So this is one of the prettier stores. This is pendulum here. This is called Earthbound. So I just like the energy in here. And I bought some rocks and crystals in here. So I was telling some of the security officers that these, she's already looking at me. How's it going? Were you on the news? Were you on the news by chance? Okay, do you know what's going on here? When there's solar flares, there's wars and riots. You probably don't know that. So there's a psychological operation on the internet nationwide.
You can't film in here.
Oh, really?
They'll put you out, yeah.
Okay. Everything going okay? I didn't know there was a policy on filming. Okay. So, trying to talk to a police officer here. They're Nazis. All the cops are Nazis here, yeah? Cops? Yeah. Yeah, so they have a certain demeanor that's not healthy. They just told me not to film. Yeah, well, I'm being nondescript. And people are used to that. They're used to, judging people that are videographers, especially when they're taller white women. So I'm just going to have to cleanse out that energy from the new age women staring at me there. So they don't feel safe when people that are different. If you're a proof of a living God, oppose the genocides taking place on the earth. Okay, she called herself a god back there, and that's what women are doing. The women think they're gods. They're not, they're demons in many cases. If they don't care, the white ones, if they don't care about the people that are being harmed, okay, then we're dealing with a demonic element. But this is a more diverse gym, okay? This is a more diverse gym, but just because, mall. But just because that's the case, doesn't mean that you're going to find consciousness. And I do believe that there's a lot of decent white people out there. I've known them in my past, and historically they've been the only ones to listen to my content. And right now they are. Some people are on Substack, and that's great. It's better than nothing at all. It was also interesting, one of these jewelers, Muslim jeweler there, selling some items. So there was actually a robbery or a break-in to this mall at some point in the last, week, couple of weeks. No, actually that was a couple of years ago. So that's weird. This mall would be so vulnerable that somebody could actually break in. They've had shootings here, and sometimes they come here from everybody else. It all has to do with the culture who doesn't give people real things to do. This culture. Just want people addicted to things, okay? And then 100 years ago, we weren't that way. So when 100 years from now, we will be robots if we even exist at that point. They're gonna get the races to kill each other off through cell phones in the new KKK America. And so we have to consider safety. That's an interesting shirt there. That is a heavy energy over there. Pretty boring, but yeah, the other thing about gyms is sometimes they have malls. Sometimes they have a bad energy, from the people that are there and the sense. And so the demographic or energy of the auras of the people that are here is a lot different. Plus you have all the energy of the 5G, right? You have the 5G energy, you have the cell phones, you have all that different stuff going on. And so this is our exit here. There's no point hanging out here any longer. It's not great energy. Looks like we're not even at 10 minutes yet. It was a pretty quick video. I mean, you just get an idea, there's hardly anything here. Let's say that I was rich, right? And I'm just going on a shopping spree. What would I buy here? Nothing. Everything is garbage. So, yeah, it's a difficult situation. People have to sell things to survive. When there's no more things to sell, they sell each other. This is how things are when a society is not sovereign. And this mall has shut down street preachers, so to speak. Now, turn around, see if I'm being followed. But yeah, they do a lot of monitoring here. They 86 me for a year for megaphoning outside, handing out my card, trying to tell people about my YouTube channel, trying to promote public safety. So really, they like to play up the I'm so superior role in what they're doing. They like to play it up. It's also pretty much a time where being unhealthy is high status here for some odd reason. And then you have the people that are healthy at the gym, but they have nothing going on inside their consciousness. You know, so it's just like a really weird energy when you go to the gym and you're dealing with that meathead energy, even from the women. You know, there's like no spiritual energy. So the sad truth is, in the new America, if you're mixed race, if you're different, if you're talented, right, in the new America, you would be considered mentally retarded. If you have compassion, if you have intelligence, if you can write books, the people think you're a dumbass. That's basically what's going on. And then if you're addicted to video games, if you're addicted to social media, they'll think you're a genius. So we're at sunset. Nice time to be outside. We had pretty nonstop genetic activity for a couple of days, but then it stopped. So got some rest last night. And all week long, the cops have been here, right? So for them, it's just job security. They're getting paid, but they don't really understand what's happening in America, and they don't care. They're the bullies from high school, the current officers and cops, right? So they want to bully people that are intelligent, that know they're rapists and kidnappers and things of that nature, right? They like to bully people. They like to hurt people. They like to mess with people's minds, makes them feel good about themselves and what they've done because, they're nothing and they never had good parents to actually teach them the difference between right and wrong. So they think that it's wrong to be a journalist. So they're basically like wannabe IDF, from raping people in the ass in prisons to raping people in the ass in Gaza. So this is a vortex of evil cops that are basically gangsters, right? Who don't like the actual people. And perhaps like other places, they like to overlord. They like to lord over the people while not even living there and caring about the community.